Why? Why is this happening to me? I gave everything I had. I worked harder than ever, and still, nothing. Every time I think I'm finally getting somewhere, life knocks me back down. Tell me, have you ever felt this way? Have you ever asked yourself, why does life feel so unfair? Why do some people get everything so easily, while you struggle, fall, and fail over and over again? If you've ever felt this way, then listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might just change the way you see everything. This is the story of a man named Rudra, a young, ambitious dreamer. At 22, he had only one goal: to become a filmmaker, to tell stories that touched hearts, that changed lives. He believed that hard work would pay off, that if he gave it his all, success would follow. But life had other plans. First, he applied to the best film schools and got rejected, one after another. Every door he knocked on was slammed shut. Still, he didn't give up. He thought, it's okay, I don't need a degree, I'll make it on my own. So he moved to the city, full of hope, full of fire. And what did the city give him in return? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Producers laughed at his scripts. Every opportunity slipped through his fingers. And as time passed, that fire inside him, it started to fade. Months turned into years. His friends moved on, got stable jobs, started families. And Rudra, he was still stuck, still struggling. Then came the worst day of his life. His mother, the only person who believed in him, fell sick, very sick. He did everything he could, sold everything he had, but it wasn't enough. And just like that, she was gone. Her last words? Don't give up on your story, Rudra. Your time will come. But Rudra didn't believe it anymore. He was done. He stopped writing, stopped dreaming. And for the next few years, he was just another lost soul, surviving in a world that had already decided he was a failure. And then, one night, everything changed. It was raining heavily. The cafe where he worked was about to close when a stranger walked in, soaking wet, looking exhausted. Rudra made him a cup of tea, and as they sat in silence, the man suddenly said, "You remind me of someone, a storyteller who forgot he was one." Rudra froze. That one sentence hit him harder than years of rejection ever did. That stranger was a producer, a big one. And in that moment, without even knowing it, Rudra's second chance had arrived. He dusted off his old scripts. He started writing again. The first one? Rejected. The second? Rejected. The third? Rejected. But this time, he didn't stop. And then, after 2 long years, it happened. One script got accepted, then another, and another. By the time he was 30, Rudra wasn't just another struggling dreamer. He was now Rudra Malhotra, the filmmaker whose stories touched millions. And you know the funny thing? Looking back, he finally understood. If he had gotten into film school at 22, he wouldn't have lived the stories that made him a great writer. If he had succeeded right away, he wouldn't have learned resilience. If he hadn't lost everything, he wouldn't have found his true self. God wasn't denying his dream. He was preparing him for it. And maybe he's doing the same for you. So tell me, do you still think your failures mean the end? Or maybe, just maybe, they are shaping you into something greater. Maybe you were never meant to succeed at 22 because your greatest success is waiting at 25. Maybe you weren't supposed to get what you wanted right now because something bigger is coming later. And that is why it is said, God's plans are always better than ours.